On the night her husband asked for a divorce, Serena Blake already felt something was wrong. She felt it in her skin before he said a single word. The air in the restaurant felt too cold, like someone had opened a freezer door behind her chair. The thermostat on the wall still said 75 degrees. The waiter still smiled and poured water like every other Friday night in Buckhead, Atlanta. But to Serena, the whole place felt strange, like a movie where everyone else knew their lines and she did not. She rubbed her hands over her dark brown arms, trying to chase away the chill. "Maybe I'm tired," she told herself. It had been another long week at her fashion studio in Midtown. Maybe that was why her heart felt so heavy right now. Across the table, Malik Turner did not seem cold at all. He sat in his usual seat at their favorite steakhouse with white tablecloths and big windows. He should have looked relaxed. Instead, he looked like he was somewhere else. His eyes were locked on his phone. The blue light from the screen lit up his face. His thumb moved fast, tapping and sliding. Every few seconds, a small smile tugged at the corner of his mouth, the kind of smile Serena had not seen pointed at her in a long time. Serena stared at the plate in front of him. He had ordered the same thing he always ordered here: ribeye steak, mashed potatoes, grilled asparagus. Tonight he barely touched it. For the last 6 months this had become their new normal. Malik came home later and later. He dropped his bag by the door, showered, changed clothes, and then picked up his phone. The phone went to the couch. The phone went to the kitchen. The phone even went to the bathroom with him. Their conversations shrank down into short, dry lines. "Did you eat already? Did you pay the gas bill?" The man who used to tell her every funny story now barely looked up from a screen. Every time the phone buzzed and he smiled that secret smile, Serena felt a small crack open inside her chest. She tried not to sound needy. She tried not to sound angry. She kept telling herself that married people went through quiet seasons. Maybe this was one of them. She cleared her throat. "Honey, how did your afternoon meeting go?" she asked, trying to keep her voice light. For a second, Malik did not answer. He finished typing, hit send, then finally looked up at his wife like he was coming back from a trip. "The meeting? It went fine. Like always," he said. His tone was flat. "That's good," Serena said. She wanted to ask more, to cross that invisible space between them and pull him back. The questions sat on her tongue. "Are you okay? Is there something wrong?" She swallowed them. Instead, she picked up her fork and cut a piece of her salmon. The food tasted like nothing. All around them, other couples laughed and talked. Glasses clinked. A birthday song started in a corner booth. At Serena's table, the silence grew thicker. She tried one more time. "Do you want to go by the lake house next weekend?" she asked. "We haven't been to Lake Lanier in a while. It might be nice to get away." Malik's eyes dropped back to his phone. "Well, see," he muttered, "things are busy." By the time they finished the meal, Serena's stomach hurt. She could not tell if it was the food or the worry. The bill came. Malik paid. They walked out into the warm Georgia night. The air outside was softer than the air inside, but the cold feeling in her chest did not go away. The drive back to their townhome in Buckhead was quiet. Serena kept her hands folded in her lap, her eyes on the road ahead. She did not turn on the radio. Maybe he's tired. Maybe work is harder than he says. Maybe I'm overthinking this. She repeated those thoughts like a little prayer, but they did not calm her. At home, Malik set his keys on the table by the door. For a moment, Serena thought he would go straight to his home office upstairs, like he usually did. Instead, he turned toward the dining room. "Come sit for a minute," he said. Something in his voice made her heart stumble. Serena followed him to the wooden table they had picked out together years ago. She remembered how they had joked about Thanksgiving dinners and future children drawing pictures there. That memory now felt like it belonged to another life. Malik sat down across from her. He placed his phone on the table, face down. He never did that. The small sound of the phone hitting the wood felt loud in the quiet house. He took a breath and looked everywhere except at her. "Serena, I need to tell you something," he began. Her hands turned cold. She laced her fingers together to stop them from shaking. "Okay," she said. Her voice came out softer than she wanted. "I've thought about this for a long time," Malik said, "and I think our marriage is over." The words dropped between them like a heavy rock into deep water. For a second, Serena did not understand them. They sounded like they belonged to someone else's story. Malik kept talking. "I don't want to keep pretending," he said. "It's not your fault. You've been a good wife. But I can't lie to myself. I still love Keisha. We've been talking again. We want to start over." Serena's ears rang. Every sound in the room faded. The ticking of the kitchen clock and her own breathing slid into the background. All she could hear was that one name. Keisha. He went on, not seeing the way her face had gone still. "To make this simple and fair," Malik said, "we should just split everything down the middle. The house, the savings, the investments. We built this life together, so we share it. Right?" Serena opened her mouth, but no sound came out. In that silent moment, one life was ending, and another one, different, was getting ready to begin. Serena did not sleep the night her husband asked for a divorce. She stayed in bed with her eyes open, listening to the air conditioner hum and to Malik's slow breathing beside her. The room was dark, but her mind was bright and loud. Every sentence from the restaurant replayed again and again. "I think our marriage is over. I still love Keisha. We split everything down the middle." Each line fell on her chest like a stone. Malik had turned his back to her and gone to sleep almost as soon as they got home. He moved like a man who had solved a hard problem at work and could finally relax. Serena lay on her side, staring at the ceiling, feeling like she was the problem he had just erased. She thought about their first years together. She saw flashes in her mind. Malik bringing cheap takeout to her tiny first studio and sitting on boxes while she sewed. Malik cheering when she signed the lease on her first Midtown boutique. Malik spinning her around in this same bedroom the day they moved into the Buckhead house, laughing so hard they had to stop and catch their breath. That man felt far away now. The red numbers on the clock changed slowly. 10:30, 11:45, 1:10. Her chest hurt like a tight band was wrapped around it. "He still loves Keisha," she said in her head. The thought cut in more than one place. It hurt that he loved someone else. It hurt that he had lied. But something else hurt too. He had talked about splitting everything down the middle like her years of work were just numbers on a form. Serena Blake had built Serena Fifth Atelier from the ground up. She had chosen fabrics, argued with landlords, checked invoices, stayed late, and flown on early flights to shows in New York. The big Buckhead house, the lake place at Lake Lanier, the savings in their accounts, the stocks with her name on them, most of it had grown from her work. Malik's paycheck paid bills and groceries. Her business built almost everything else. Now he wanted half of it to carry into a new life with Keisha. At 2 a.m, the pain and anger and shock were all mixed together inside her. Sleep did not come. Her eyes burned. Finally, she slipped out of bed. She moved very slowly so the mattress would not shake. Malik did not stir. His face in the dark looked calm. Her bare feet touched the cool hardwood floor. She walked down the hallway in the dark, guiding herself with one hand on the wall, and went down the stairs. In the kitchen, she turned on the small light over the sink. A soft yellow circle pushed the shadows back. The house was quiet. The tall windows showed only black outside. The nice table, the chairs, the art pieces all looked strange, like a picture in a magazine, not like her own home. She got a glass from the cabinet, filled it with water, and drank. The water was cold and clear, but the knot in her chest stayed. She set the glass on the counter and started to walk toward the stairs again. Then she saw it. A thin strip of light glowed under the door of Malik's home office. Her heart jumped. Didn't he go to bed? She wondered. The door was almost closed, but not all the way. Just enough space for light and sound to slide through. Serena felt her feet move without planning. She walked down the hall, quiet as she could. The way you walk when a child is sleeping and you do not want to wake them. Only it was not a child she was worried about waking. It was the man who had just ended her marriage like he was canceling a cable plan. When she was close to the door, she heard his voice. It was not the flat, cold voice from dinner. It was warm and soft. It was the voice he used long ago, when he talked to her in the dark. "Hold on a little longer, baby," Malik was saying. "It's almost done. It'll be over soon." Serena's hand tightened around the edge of the glass. She held her breath without meaning to. Her heart pounded in her ears. "The process will be quick," he went on. "I already told her. She took it pretty well. She's in shock, but you know Serena. She's always been kind of soft." There was a pause. On the other end, Serena could not hear Keisha's words, but she could imagine the question. How did she react? Malik repeated. Then he laughed, a light, easy laugh that felt like cold water thrown on Serena's face. She just sat there. She won't make trouble. Serena's too wrapped up in me. She'll sign whatever I put in front of her. The words did something inside her. All night long, her chest had felt like it was on fire. Now that heat started to change. It did not disappear. It cooled down and became hard and sharp, like metal cooling into a blade. Weak, soft, wrapped up in me. That was who she was to him. Not the partner who had stayed up late counting money. Not the woman who had carried dresses up and down stairs. Not the person who knew every corner of their life. Just someone who loved him so much she would never say no. Serena listened as his voice went on. All her assets, our assets, he said, putting extra weight on are going to be the capital for our new life. The Buckhead house, the lake house, her stocks, all of it. You'll quit your job. Well, travel like we always said. This is just step one. Serena could not listen anymore. Very slowly, she backed away from the door. She placed each foot down so carefully that the wood would not make a sound. She did not want him to know she was there. She did not want to hear him switch to his kind husband act. She walked back through the quiet kitchen. The small light over the sink seemed too bright now. She turned it off, then went up the stairs again, one hand tight on the railing. In the bedroom, the air felt heavier than before. The bed was still messy. Malik's side was empty. Serena did not lie down. She walked to the corner instead, where her full-length mirror stood. It had a simple black frame and clear glass. Most mornings, she liked this mirror. It showed her power suits and dresses. It helped her see which outfit made her feel most like a boss before she went out to run her company. Tonight, the mirror showed something else. She saw a woman with red eyes and a tired face. Her hair was out of place. Her mouth was pressed in a thin line. Her shoulders sagged. For a moment, she only saw the hurt. She saw the woman whose husband had said, "I still love Keisha." She heard again, "She's soft. She'll sign whatever I put in front of her." She whispered the sentence out loud, just to hear it in the air. "She'll sign whatever I put in front of her." The words tasted wrong. She looked harder at her own eyes in the mirror. Under the shine of tears, something else was there. A little spark, a thin line of steel. It was the same thing that had been there when a bank told her no and she kept going until another bank told her yes. It was the same thing that had held her up when sales were low and bills were high, and she had to get creative to keep Serena Fifth Atelier alive. She had not been weak then. Why would I be weak now? She asked herself in a low voice. She breathed in slowly through her nose. She breathed out through her mouth. Her shoulders lifted and then settled back. She stood up a little straighter. The bedroom was quiet. The air from the vent brushed past her ears with a soft sound. Somewhere outside, a car drove by on the street. Inside this room, something new was taking shape. This is not just about love anymore, she thought. This is about what is mine. He is planning to take my work and call it fair. She could not make him love her. She could not erase Keisha from his phone. She could not fix whatever had cracked between them years ago. But there was one thing he had misjudged. He had forgotten who she really was when it came to money, plans, and risk. She lifted her chin and spoke to her reflection, like she would speak to a younger woman sitting in front of her asking for advice. "You are not weak," she said quietly. "You built this life. You know where everything is. You know how to move it. So move it." The spark in her eyes grew a little. "The war will end quickly," she whispered to the woman in the mirror, "but not the way he thinks." In that moment, Serena Blake made a silent promise. Malik Turner could walk away from this marriage. He could take his clothes, his car, and his dreams with Keisha Lane. He could start over somewhere else. But he would not walk out carrying her future. He would not walk out with half of what she had worked for, smiling like he had won a prize. Slowly, Serena turned away from the mirror. She went back to the bed, but she did not lie down. She picked up her phone from the nightstand instead. The screen lit her face with a soft blue glow. A few names popped into her mind right away. A sharp lawyer a business friend had once told her about. A calm, smart financial advisor who already handled some of her investments. A store manager who was loyal to her above anyone else. Tomorrow, she thought, I start moving pieces. Tonight, I hurt for the last time. She turned off the lamp. The room fell into shadow, with only a little light from the street coming through the curtains. Atlanta slept outside. Inside the Buckhead house, a woman who had just been called soft stood very still in the dark, feeling the shape of her new strength. This time, she would not be the one surprised. Morning came to the Buckhead townhouse like any other day, but nothing felt the same. Gray light slid through the curtains. The alarm buzzed at 6:30. Malik reached over Serena, shut it off, and rolled onto his back. He yawned and stretched like a man whose life was simple. Serena had barely slept. Her body was heavy, but her mind was sharp. The hurt from last night sat inside her chest, but it wasn't wild anymore. It was cold. It was clear. Bathroom first? Malik mumbled, eyes still half closed. You go, Serena said quietly. He grabbed his phone and walked to the bathroom. The door closed. Water started to run. The sound of the shower filled the room. Serena sat up. For a moment she just stared straight ahead. Then she swung her legs out of bed and stood. She walked over to the mirror on the wall. The woman in the glass looked tired. Her eyes were a little swollen, her skin was dry. But her gaze was different from the night before. It wasn't broken. It was awake. Today, she whispered, you start. She washed her face, brushed her teeth, and got dressed in a simple navy blouse and dark jeans. She pulled her hair back into a neat bun. No fancy makeup, no drama. On the outside, she would look calm. On the inside, she was building something new. Downstairs, she made coffee and toast just like always. The rich smell filled the kitchen. The Buckhead street outside looked peaceful through the window. A jogger ran by. A dog barked once. The world didn't care that her marriage had cracked in half. Malik came down in his white shirt and gray slacks, tie hanging loose. He glanced at her and did a small double take, like he expected to see a crying woman, and instead saw a quiet one. Morning, he said. Good morning, Serena answered. Coffee? Yeah, thanks. She poured him a mug and one for herself. They sat at the small table by the window. For a few seconds, only the sound of spoons and cups moved between them. I've been thinking, Serena said. Malik looked up, a little guarded. About what? He asked. About last night, she said. You're right. There's no point holding on to something that's already broken. She held his eyes. If you want a divorce, we should end it peacefully. No screaming. No mess. Relief rushed across his face so fast she almost saw it. His shoulders relaxed. His voice softened. I'm glad you understand, he said. I don't want to hurt you. I just want us both to move on. He said it like he was noble. I don't know anything about divorce, Serena said, letting a small tremble into her voice. I don't want to make mistakes with money and papers. Malik sat a little taller. He liked being the one who knew. My lawyer will draw up everything, he said. Well, list all we have. The house, the savings, your business, the investments. We split it down the middle. You just sign. The more you cooperate, the easier it'll be. Serena nodded slowly and looked at her coffee, like she was thinking it over. I just want it to be fair, she whispered. It will be, Malik said. He reached across the table and patted her hand as if he was doing her a favor. Trust me. She pulled her hand back and forced a small smile. A few minutes later he stood, tied his tie, and grabbed his briefcase. I gotta go, he said. Big day at the office. Well, talk more when my lawyer has the papers ready. Okay, Serena replied. Drive safe. He kissed her forehead out of habit, then left. The front door shut. The sound of his car faded away down the street. The house went quiet. Serena sat for 1 full minute, staring at the empty chair across from her. Her face was calm, but inside her, gears were turning fast. Then she stood, her shoulders drew back. The heaviness in her spine changed into something solid. She walked down the hall to the small room that held her home office. Usually the door stayed open. Today she stepped inside and turned the lock. The click was soft, but to her it sounded like the start of a plan. On the wall hung a big painting of the Atlanta skyline at sunset. She reached up and slid it to the side, revealing a small safe hidden behind it. Her fingers moved without thinking. She typed in the code, heard the beep, and pulled the heavy door open. Inside were neat stacks of folders and envelopes. Not just jewelry and passports, but deeds, contracts, bank letters, and investment reports. The map of her financial life. She carried everything to the desk and spread it out. The deed to the Buckhead house, in her name. The paperwork for the lake house at Lake Lanier, bought through her company, Serena Fifth Atelier. Lease contracts for boutiques in Midtown. And brokerage statements with long lines of numbers. Then she opened her laptop and created a new spreadsheet. At the top she typed 3 words. What I own. Under that, she made 3 columns. Before Malik, from my work, truly joint. She started to sort. The small condo she owned before she met Malik. Before Malik, the savings and gold coins from her grandmother. Before Malik, the Buckhead townhouse. Mostly paid from her company bonuses. From my work. The lake house, held in the company. From my work. Serena Fifth Atelier itself, brand, stores, stock, designs. From my work. The joint checking account they used for groceries and bills, truly joint. The cars, the furniture, small things, compared to the rest. It took almost an hour to check everything. When she finished, she leaned back and looked at the screen. 2 columns were full, 1 column was thin. Split it down the middle, she said softly. He calls that fair. Her chest burned, but this time she held the fire in her hands. She did not let it run wild. She would not win this by rage. She would win this by being smarter. She needed a lawyer who would stand only on her side. Her usual business lawyer knew Malik. She could picture them laughing at a holiday party. No, she needed someone Malik did not expect. Someone with sharp teeth behind a soft smile. She remembered a lunch last year with women business owners from across Atlanta. One woman, older with gray in her curls, had leaned close and said, "If your man ever tries to take your company, call Lionel Graves. Looks gentle, fights mean, saved me from losing everything." Serena had written the name down. Now she pulled out an old notebook and flipped pages until she found it. Attorney Lionel Graves, she had written, with a small arrow. Soft voice, hard brain. She opened a web browser and typed his name. Graves Law Group showed up first. The website was simple. No bragging. Just clear words. Family law, business law, estate planning, serving Atlanta. She stared at the phone number for a few seconds. Her heart tapped fast in her chest, but her fingers were steady as she picked up her phone and dialed. Graves Law Group. This is Tanya, a woman answered. Good morning, Serena said. I'd like to speak with Attorney Graves, please. It's about a divorce and protecting my assets. It's urgent. Have you worked with us before? Tanya asked. No, Serena said. A business friend gave me his name. Understood, Tanya replied. Let me see if he's free for a quick call. Hold music played softly. Serena looked around her little office as she waited. Today, by lunchtime that same day, Serena was sitting across from attorney Lionel Graves in a small soul food cafe on the south side of Atlanta. The place was quiet. A ceiling fan turned slowly above them. Lionel did not look scary. He wore a plain blue shirt and thin glasses. His hair was gray at the edges. When the waitress set down sweet tea, he nodded for Serena to begin. She told him everything in one long stream. The cold dinner in Buckhead. Malik saying he still loved Keisha. The talk about splitting everything down the middle. The late-night phone call where he laughed, called her soft, and promised to use their assets for his new life. Lionel listened without interrupting. He wrote short notes in a small notebook. When she finished, Serena's hands were shaking a little on the table. So, she asked, do I have to just sit here and let him take half? You're not crazy for asking that, Lionel said quietly. You're a businesswoman. Let's look at what belongs to who. Whose name is on the Buckhead house? Mine, Serena said. I got the mortgage alone. And the lake house at Lake Lanier? That's under my company, Serena Fifth Atelier. It's a business asset. The investment accounts? Most are in my name, she said. One is joint, but I'm the primary holder. Lionel nodded. And has Malik filed for divorce yet? No. He only talked about it. Nothing is in court. Lionel leaned back. His voice stayed soft, but there was steel under it. Then here's the key, he said. Until a petition is filed and a judge says otherwise, anything in your name or your company's name is yours to manage. Moving your own money is not theft, it's asset management. We must be careful with truly joint accounts. But the rest? You do not have to wait for him to decide your future. Serena stared at him. The knot in her chest loosened a little. So I can sell things? Transfer money? She asked. As long as it's yours on paper. Yes, he said. We start with what's easy to move: cash and stocks. We change passwords. We change where money lands. We build safe accounts he doesn't know about. Do you have a financial advisor you trust? Yes. Her name is Monica Fields. She's been with me for years. Good, Lionel said. Call her today. Tell her you want new accounts in your name only at a different bank. All digital, no paper mail to the house. I'll back up the moves with documents if anyone asks later. One more thing. He looked her in the eye. When you're with Malik, act like you know nothing. Let him think you're still soft. Serena gave a dry smile. He already does, she said. Then that's your mask, Lionel replied. Let him wear his pride. You work under it. When Serena stepped back outside, the Georgia sun made her squint. Cars rolled past. A bus hissed to a stop. In her car, she took a deep breath and called Monica. Serena, hey, Monica said. What's going on? I'm divorcing Malik, Serena answered. Saying it out loud made it feel real. I need to move some things before he files. I'm sorry, Monica said, her tone kind but practical. Tell me what you want to do. I want to sell part of some stocks, Serena said. I want a new brokerage account and a new bank account in my name only, at a bank Malik doesn't know. And I want everything digital. No paper to the house. That's all doable, Monica said. Email me the list of positions you're okay selling. I'll open the new accounts and set all statements to online only. Well, add extra security so no one touches anything without your okay. And Serena, you're not stealing, you're protecting your work. Thank you, Serena said. I don't want to be the fool in this story. After they hung up, she sat for a moment in the parked car, then she drove toward her midtown boutique. She used the car's speaker to check in with her staff, talking about window displays and clients, while another voice in her head kept repeating, "Move now, don't wait." At a red light, she glanced at the lane beside her and saw a police car. The officer inside looked straight ahead. Still, Serena's throat tightened. The secret plan in her mind made her feel like a criminal. She pressed her fingers into the steering wheel and whispered, "You're not stealing. You're protecting." The light turned green. She drove on. At the boutique, she walked through rows of dresses and into her small office. She closed the door, opened her laptop, and sent Monica the list of stocks. She clicked through each of her bank and investment accounts, switching paper statements to email and changing passwords. She added two-step codes, so even if someone learned a password, they still couldn't get in. That night in Buckhead, after Malik finished dinner and went to watch TV, Serena sat alone in the home office. The house was quiet except for the sound of the game. She logged into their joint checking account. The balance showed about $40,000. Most of it was from a recent business bonus and dividends from her investments. Malik's paycheck made up only a small part, but the account had both their names on it. She could move it all and leave nothing. The thought flashed through her mind and passed just as fast. Lionel's voice echoed in her head. We must be careful with truly joint assets. Serena did the math. Malik's last paycheck and some other shared money came to about $10,000. The other $30,000 had flowed in from her work. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. Her heart beat hard, but her mind was clear. She opened the transfer page and typed in the number for her company account. In the amount box, she wrote 30000. In the memo line, she wrote, Fabric deposit, fall collection. If anyone ever asked, she could show an invoice. She really did have a fall collection. She really would buy fabric. Her finger paused over the confirm button for one last second. She pictured Malik's small secret smile at his phone. She heard his voice. Shall sign whatever I put in front of her. Then she clicked. Transaction successful, the screen said. The balance dropped. $10,000 remained. Enough so he could not say she had left him with nothing. Enough to show she was not acting out of blind anger. Serena let out a long breath. Fear and relief washed through her at the same time. 2 days later, Malik stood in the kitchen, frowning at his phone. "Serena," he called, "did you use the joint account?" The balance dropped a lot. Her chest squeezed for a second, but her face stayed calm. She wiped her hands on a towel and walked over. "Oh, that," she said. "I used it as a deposit for the silk order. Remember the bridal gowns? I transferred the money into the company account. My advisor said inventory money shouldn't sit there as savings we have to split." She showed him an email she and Monica had prepared, a clean order confirmation with the same amount as the missing money. Malik stared at the screen. "So this helps with the divorce?" he asked. "So it doesn't count as something we split?" "Exactly," Serena said. "It keeps it on the business side. It protects both of us." The words "protects both of us" soothed him. His shoulders relaxed. "Okay," he said. "Just let me know next time. I want this to go smooth." "I don't want to fight," she answered. "You know me." "Yes," he said, kissing her cheek before walking back to the TV. "I do." That night, when the house was dark and Malik was asleep, Serena went back into the home office. She opened her laptop. A spreadsheet filled the screen. At the top, in bold letters, she had written, "Project Independence." Under it was a list of accounts and assets. Next to each was a space for one simple word, pending or completed. She moved the cursor to the line that read, "Transfer from joint account, 30,000 to company," and typed, "Completed." She sat back and stared at that word. Each completed was one more piece of her future, pulled out of Malik's hands and placed back into her own. Outside, the Buckhead street was quiet. Inside, a woman he had called soft was building her own escape, one careful step at a time. Serena's quiet war did not stop with bank accounts and stocks. The next battlefield was the lake house. On paper, the place at Lake Lanier was not a romantic getaway. It was listed as a business asset of Serena Fifth Atelier. Serena had bought it 3 years earlier, when her brand finally started to make real money. Officially, it was for VIP fittings and photo shoots. In her heart, it had been her reward for years of hard work. Now it was just another target she had to move before Malik could touch it. A few days after she met with attorney Lionel Graves, Serena sat in his office again. The small room smelled like coffee. "We need to talk about the lake house," Serena said. "It's under the company name." Lionel folded his hands. "That's actually good news," he said. "Who owns the company on paper?" "I do," Serena answered. "I'm the CEO and majority shareholder." "Then we have room to move," he said. "A company can buy and sell property. Your husband's name is nowhere on that deed. The question is not, can we move it? The question is, where do we move it to?" "Somewhere Malik can't reach it," Serena said, "but somewhere I still have control." Lionel nodded. "We create a new company," he said, "a holding company. It buys the lake house from Serena Fifth Atelier at a normal price. On paper, that new company belongs to someone outside your marriage. In real life, that person is on your side." He pulled out a yellow pad and wrote in large letters, "Skyline Holdings, LLC. This will be our buyer," Lionel said. "And the owner of Skyline will be your mother, Evelyn Blake. She is not married to Malik. He has no claim on her property. We sign a clean sale from your fashion brand to Skyline. The money goes back into Serena Fifth Atelier. The house title moves to Skyline." "Shall agree," Serena said. "She warned me years ago to keep my own money safe. She never liked it when Malik bragged about our house." "Then we move fast," Lionel said. "Well, set the price just a bit under market so we can explain a quick sale. Not too low, not fake. I'll handle the paperwork. You keep playing the quiet wife at home." That night, Serena made dinner like any other evening, but the way she watched Malik had changed. They sat at the table. Malik scrolled his phone between bites. "I had an idea," he said. "We should go up to the lake house next weekend. To Lake Lanier." Serena's fork froze halfway to her mouth. "We haven't been in a while," Malik went on. "And I want to show it to Keisha, like a preview of what our new life is going to look like, before everything is official." Inside, Serena felt something rip. On the outside, she lowered her eyes and let out a small, shaky breath. I don't think I can go there right now, she said quietly. There are too many memories. I can't walk her through that house. Not yet. Malik frowned. It's just a house. Not to me, she replied. Then she added the line she and Lionel had prepared. Besides, I already asked Harold to put it on the market for long-term rental. He says some serious people want to see it this week. If we start getting rent, that's good for both of us, right? The word rent lit up something in his eyes. Passive income, he said, smiling. You always think ahead with money. Tell Harold to charge premium prices, and make sure I see the reports. I want to know what's going on. Of course, Serena said, keeping her tone soft. You'll know everything. But in her mind she thought, no, you won't. 3 days later, while Serena was at her Midtown boutique, her phone buzzed on the desk. She glanced down and saw a short text from Mr. Harold Benton. Hez here at the lake, it said. Don't worry. Under control. She stepped into the storage room and called at once. Harold, what's happening? She asked in a low voice. Malik just pulled up to the lake house, Harold said. But I've got my niece and nephew here. They're playing a German couple looking for a rental. We're doing a fake showing right now. Serena leaned her back against a shelf. You're a lifesaver, she said. Mom, you gave me a job when nobody else did, Harold replied. I'm not about to let that man mess with your future. I'll call you when he leaves. At Lake Lanier, Harold stood near the door with a clipboard, looking like a real estate agent. His niece and nephew played the part of a calm couple from Germany. They nodded and smiled and spoke in careful English. Malik walked in like he owned the place. I am the owner, he told Harold. My wife said you were renting it out. I understand, sir, Harold said. I'm managing the property for Serena Fifth Atelier. That's the company that owns this house. Today I am showing it to potential long-term tenants. This place is perfect, the young woman said in her German accent, staring out at the water. Very quiet, very beautiful. Malik felt proud. He saw himself on this deck with Keisha, taking selfies in the sunset. He walked through every room, imagining a future that was not his yet. Make sure you collect the rent in dollars, he told Harold. It's a premium property. And send reports to me. I need to see numbers. Of course, sir, Harold said. I'll make my reports to Miss Blake as director. She'll share them with you. Malik frowned a little but shrugged it off. In his head, he still believed ours meant mine. He took photos on his phone of the water, the kitchen, the big bedroom. Then he left. As soon as his car disappeared down the road, Harold pulled out his phone and called Serena back. Has gone, Harold said. He bought the act. Serena closed her eyes for 1 second. Thank you, she said. Now we just have to finish the paper trail. That same week, Lionel worked fast. He filed the forms to create Skyline Holdings, LLC, with Evelyn Blake as the owner. He prepared the sale contract from Serena Fifth Atelier to Skyline. A few days later, Serena and her mother sat side by side in a quiet notary office. The notary slid a stack of documents across the table. Here is the deed transfer, the notary said. Serena Fifth Atelier as seller, Skyline Holdings, LLC as buyer. Serena picked up the pen. For a heartbeat, she thought about all the weekends at the lake, the laughs on the deck, the nights she believed Malik would stand by her forever. Then she thought about the phone call where he promised their new life to Keisha, using their assets. She signed, Your turn, Miss Blake, the notary said. Evelyn took the pen. Her hands were small but steady. Are you sure, baby? She asked quietly. I'm sure, Serena said. I'd rather let it pass through your hands than see him take it and pretend he earned it. Evelyn nodded, her eyes sharp. Men like that think they're the storm, she said. They forget some women know how to build shelters. She wrote her name, Evelyn Blake, owner of Skyline Holdings, LLC. The notary pressed a round seal on each page. The heavy stamp hit the paper with a soft thud that sounded like a door closing. By the end of the day, the sale money sat in the Serena Fifth Atelier business account. The lake house at Lake Lanier now belonged to Skyline Holdings. On paper, it was no longer tied to Serena's marriage at all. That night, back in Buckhead, Serena stood by the bedroom window. Atlantis lights glittered outside. Somewhere an hour away, the lake house sat in the quiet dark, safe under her mother's name. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from Lionel. "Lake House transfer recorded," it said. "Done." Serena looked at the words for a long second. One more fortress saved. One more door closed in Malik's face without him even knowing it. If you're still here, listening to how she moves piece by piece while everyone thinks she's weak, take a breath with her, stay close. Then tap like, hit subscribe, and tell me in the comments, would you be able to stay this calm, or would you blow everything up? Now let's see what happens when Malik finally realizes the game he thought he was winning has already changed. After the lake house was safe under her mother's name, Serena knew the biggest battle was still ahead. Money in a bank could move with a few clicks. A house could change owners with a few signatures. But her company, Serena Fifth Atelier, was different. It was her dream and her work. Losing half of it to a man who planned to run off with Keisha felt worse than losing any building. One morning, about a week after the sale at Lake Lanier, Serena sat again in attorney Lionel Gravis' office. "We've moved the easy things," Lionel said. "Cash, stocks, the lake place. Now we have to talk about your company." "Serena Fifth Atelier is my life," she said. "I started with one tiny room and 3 rolling racks. There is no way Malik is walking out of this marriage with half of that in his pocket." "On the books," Lionel asked, "who owns the company right now?" "I do," she answered. "I'm listed as the main shareholder and CEO. Some of my staff have little shares, but no one else has real power." "Did anyone help you with money at the start?" Lionel asked. "Family, maybe?" Serena thought back to that first year. The landlord wanted a big deposit. The supplier wanted cash up front. "My mom did," Serena said. "She wired me money so I could pay the first lease and buy fabric. I told her it was a gift." "We never wrote anything down." Lionel's eyes sharpened. "That's our door," he said. "Right now it looks like there was no debt, only your own capital. But we can build a true story from what really happened. Your mother sent money. We have proof of that transfer, right?" "Yes," Serena said. "The old bank sent a statement. I still have it." "Good," Lionel said. "We draft a loan contract. It says that 7 years ago, Evelyn Blake lent you that starting money as capital. The deal is simple. If you don't pay it back in cash within 7 years, that debt turns into 75% of the company's shares." Serena blinked. "So most of my company would belong to my mother?" she asked. "On paper, yes," Lionel said. "In real life, she is your ally. Malik can't touch shares that belong to Evelyn. They are not marital property. He can't ask a judge to cut up what is not yours." Letting go of the title majority owner felt like pulling her name off the front door. "Is that even legal?" she asked. "It's a gray area," he said, "but not a lie. The money from your mother was real. We point to that transfer and call it a loan. In family businesses, judges often trust written deals when there is some proof. If Malik yells, it will be his word against your mother's. And you will have paper. Gray is still better than letting him walk away with my life," she said at last. "I'll draft the loan contract," Lionel said. "We date it back to the year you started. We show that the 7 years ended right before he asked for the divorce. We prepare minutes for a shareholder meeting. You and your small shareholders agree to pay that debt by giving your mother 75% of the company. You stay CEO. When Malik's lawyer comes looking, there will be nothing big in your name to take." Serena breathed out slowly. "Okay," she said. "Do it." That afternoon, Serena drove to her flagship boutique in Midtown. Inside, she walked into the back office, where Mr. Harold Benton was checking numbers. "Harold," she said, closing the door. "We need to talk." He looked up at her face and sat up straighter. "Yes, ma'am," he said. "What's wrong?" "I'm going to divorce Malik," Serena said. The words came out steady. "He wants half of everything, including this place." Harold's jaw tightened. "That man doesn't deserve a single hanger in this shop," Harold said. "Tell me what you need." "I need your help with our paper trail," she said. "My mother gave me money to start this company. We're going to show, on the books, that it was a capital loan, that the loan turns into shares. Our reports have to match that story." Harold nodded. "Well, go back through the old records," he said. "Well, add notes where we need to. Well, make it make sense. I've kept every receipt since year 1, Miss Blake. He might think you're soft. He doesn't know how sharp your filing cabinets are." Over the next week, they pulled old binders from shelves. They traced the path of money. They highlighted the old bank transfer from Evelyn to Serena and slipped a copy into a new folder labeled Initial Capital Loan. In the reports, they added simple lines. Original funding supported by family capital, one note read. In line with loan terms from founding investor, said another. Nothing was loud, but for anyone who looked closely, it would now seem like the company had always carried a private debt to its first supporter. Lionel sent over papers too, a loan contract for Evelyn to sign, and draft minutes for a small shareholder meeting. Serena gathered her key people one evening after closing. Harold was there. So were 2 store managers and 1 early employee who had become a pattern maker and small shareholder. They sat in the fitting area on simple chairs. Serena did not tell them every detail about Malik. She simply said, "I'm protecting the company from the divorce. This brand feeds all of us," she told them. "I won't let someone who didn't build it cut it in half like a pie. My mother helped me start Serena Fifth Atelier. We're putting that help in writing now. On paper, she will own most of the company. I will still run it. Your small shares will still be there. But when lawyers come sniffing around, they will see a wall instead of open doors." The managers looked at each other, then back at her. "Whatever keeps this place safe, I support," one said. "You gave me a job when nobody else would," another added. "If hiding my tiny piece helps you protect the big piece, I'll sign." Harold gave a small nod. "Just point where you need my name," he said. They read the minutes Lionel had drafted. The papers said that the shareholders had met, noted the old loan from Evelyn, and decided to pay it back by giving her 75% of the shares. One by one, they signed. It felt strange to Serena to write her name saying she was giving away something she had fought to get. But she kept thinking about Malik's smug face at the dinner table, about the way he talked about splitting her work. She signed. A few days later, Serena and her mother sat in a notary office for the share transfer documents. "These papers move 75% of the shares of Serena Fifth Atelier from you, Miss Blake, to your mother, Miss Evelyn Blake," the notary said. "You will still act as CEO, but the owner of record will change." Serena held the pen for a moment. "Once we do this," she said softly to her mother, "there's no going back unless I buy it from you later." Evelyn smiled. "Girl, I've been holding you since you were a baby," she said. "I can hold a few papers for you too. The name on the stock might be mine, but we both know whose hands built this house." Serena let out a short laugh. "You're sure?" she asked. "I'm sure," Evelyn replied. "Better I hold your work than see him tear it apart." Serena signed. Then Evelyn signed as the new majority owner. The notary stamped each page. The circle marks pressed into the paper felt final. On the ride back, Serena rested her head against the car window. "You did the hard thing today," Evelyn said. "Sometimes love means we step out of the light so someone else can be seen. Today I step into the light on paper so you can stay free in real life." Serena reached for her mother's hand and squeezed it. "Thank you," she said. "One day, when this is over, I'll buy every share back from you. Not because I don't trust you, just because I want my name back on the door. I'll sell it for $1 and a hug," Evelyn said. Back at the Midtown boutique that evening, Serena walked through the quiet shop. This place was truly hers where it really counted. She chose the designs. She signed paychecks. She held the keys. But on paper, the castle walls had moved. The crown now sat on her mother's head so Malik could not grab it. She looked at her own reflection in the mirror. The woman there looked tired, but her eyes were sharp. She looked like a general who had burned her own fields, so an enemy could not eat from them. But watching Malik eat what she had grown would have hurt more. She slowly turned off the lights. Somewhere not far away, Malik still believed he was about to take half of everything. He did not know that by the time his lawyer opened his file, the shelves he wanted to empty would already be completely bare. 2 months later, Malik's smooth confidence started to crack. He was still dressing sharp and talking big, but Serena could see the strain under his skin. He snapped at small things. He checked his phone over and over. He walked through the townhouse like a man who had lost something but didn't know what yet. The real pressure came from Keisha. One night, while Serena was closing her Midtown boutique, Malik sat alone in Buckhead with the blinds half down, phone to his ear. "It's been weeks, Malik," Keisha said. "You told me this divorce would be quick. Where's the money? When are we getting our house?" "These things take time," Malik said. "Lawyers, the court. Serena is cooperative. It's all under control, is it?" Keisha cut in. "If I were her, it'd be moving everything right now. You already told her you still love your ex. You think she's just going to sit there and wait? You better check those accounts before you wake up broke." When the call ended, her words kept echoing. That night, when Serena went to shower, Malik slipped into the home office and shut the door. He woke up the desktop, opened one of their investment sites, and typed the old login he always used. "Incorrect password," the screen said. He tried again. Same answer. On the third try, a new message showed up. "Your account has been locked. Use the recovery option." He clicked Forgot Password. A reset link has been sent to the primary email address on file. Malik opened his inbox. Nothing. He refreshed again and again. Still nothing. His throat went dry. The next day at lunch, he stepped outside his office building and called the brokerage. "This is Malik Turner," he said. "On account ending in 4-2. I can't log in. I think the password was changed." After the long, boring list of security questions, the worker came back. "Sir, the password was changed 2 weeks ago by the primary holder," she said. "That's Miss Serena Blake. You are listed as secondary. We can't reset it for you without her." "So I can't get in at all?" he asked. "Not without the primary," she replied. He hung up, staring at his own reflection in the black phone screen. For the first time, the word control did not feel like it belonged to him. That night, Serena was on the couch in soft, gray sweatpants, reading on her tablet, when Malik walked into the living room. He leaned against the door frame, arms crossed. "Serena," he said, trying to sound casual. "I tried to log into our investment account. The password doesn't work. Did you change it?" Serena lifted her eyes. For a tiny second, she let them widen, then let out a small, tired breath. "Oh, yeah," she said. "Well, not me. Monica changed it. My advisor." "Since when do we have an advisor?" he asked. "Since you told me you wanted a divorce," she answered quietly. "I don't know divorce laws. I don't want to mess up money and hurt you or me." She put the tablet down and sat a little straighter. "Monica said the safest thing is to freeze everything," Serena went on. "No one buys, no one sells, no one moves money until the court gives orders. That way it's fair. That way it's transparent." Her words, she said it protects both sides. She handed him his own language back. Fair, transparent, protect. Malik frowned. "She did that without asking me?" "You told me to cooperate so it would go fast," Serena said softly. "You've always said I'm soft with numbers. I just did what she told me." Using his word soft made him feel guilty and important at the same time. He rubbed his forehead. "Fine," he muttered. "I just don't like surprises." "Neither do I," Serena replied, and picked up her tablet again. From then on, Malik watched her in a new way. He noticed she no longer left her laptop open on the table. When he walked into a room, she often lowered her voice and ended calls. Some nights he reached out in the dark and found her side of the bed empty. Once, at 3 a.m, he found her sitting on the balcony, back straight, hands folded in her lap, staring down at the quiet Atlanta street. "You okay?" he asked. "I'm just thinking," she said. "Big changes, big choices." There was no begging in her eyes, no panic, just a clear, steady light he did not recognize. It scared him more than tears ever could. While Malik's unease grew, Serena's plan moved toward the finish line. Monica's short emails came in like steady drumbeats. Tech stock sale complete. Bond funds settled. New account funded. Every time Serena saw the word complete, she opened her Project Independence file and typed one simple word beside a line, done. By late summer, almost every row was done. Stocks, done. Old savings, done. Lake House, moved to Skyline. Company, shielded behind Evelyn's name. Only one line remained at the bottom of the screen. Joint checking, final cleanup. She waited one more month. Salaries dropped in, bills cleared, direct deposits hit. Slowly, the joint account climbed again. One night, after midnight, when Malik's soft snore came steady from the bedroom, Serena slipped out of bed and padded down the hallway. The townhouse was dark. In the home office, the laptop screen washed her face in pale blue. She logged into the bank. Balance, $35,000. She pulled a small notepad from the drawer and did quick math. Malik's last paycheck, about $4,000. Loose shared money, maybe $1,000. The rest she could trace back to her salary and bonuses. She sat there for a moment, staring at the total. A hot, wild part of her wanted to drain it to zero and write a note. Now you know how it feels. The moment passed. I'm not you, she whispered into the quiet. I don't need to burn everything to win. She decided to leave $5,000 in the account. Enough for him to pay rent and bills for a bit. Enough to show, if anyone ever questioned her, that she had not tried to crush him. On the transfer screen she typed in the number for her new personal bank, the one Malik didn't know existed. Amount: $30,000 memo. Owner draw, Q3. Her finger hovered over the mouse. Her heart beat hard in her chest, but her hand did not shake. She clicked. Transaction successful, the screen said. The balance dropped to $5,000. Serena looked at the new number and felt something quiet and heavy fall into place. There was no more real hours in their money. There was his, and there was hers. The last knot tying their accounts together was gone. She logged out and closed the laptop. Instead of going back to bed, she opened the hall closet and pulled out a medium-sized black suitcase. Not huge, not tiny, big enough for a life that was about to move. She packed slowly, like a woman folding years into fabric. 2 sharp business suits. A few soft dresses, jeans and simple tops, sleepwear, her favorite heels and a pair of clean sneakers, small pieces of jewelry that meant something only to her, her laptop and charger. A small photo of her and Evelyn on the night they opened the very first little shop. Last, she took a dark blue folder from the bottom drawer of her desk and laid it gently on top of the clothes. Inside were copies of every key document, statements from her new accounts, the sale contract for the lake house, the deed showing Evelyn as majority owner of Serena Fifth Atelier, and a clear summary Lionel had written, explaining, in simple words, that all these moves were legal and made before any divorce filing. She ran her palm over the folder. This is my armor. This is my proof, she thought. She zipped the suitcase and rolled it to the front door. She didn't hide it. She also didn't explain it. If Malik noticed, she could say she was going to stay with her mother for a few days. If he didn't, it would still be ready when she walked out. Then she went back upstairs and slid under the covers. Malik turned toward her in his sleep and mumbled something, still sure the world was bending his way. The next day was Friday. All afternoon, as Serena checked fabrics and greeted customers at the boutique, a calm tension hummed under her ribs. Her inner spreadsheet was complete. There were no more assets left for Malik to grab. When she pulled into the Buckhead driveway that evening, the sky over Atlanta was painted orange and pink. Malik's car was already parked out front. She stepped into the foyer and heard his voice from the dining room. Serena? She walked in and saw him at the same mahogany table where he had first said the word divorce. He wore a pressed shirt and an excited smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. On the chair beside him sat a shiny brown leather briefcase, stiff and proud, like a prop in a play. "Let's eat at home tonight," he said. "I've got something to show you. Think of it as a celebration. The beginning of our new, separate lives." Serena's gaze flicked toward the black suitcase by the door, then to the blue folder waiting on the hall table. She smoothed the front of her blouse, drew in one slow breath, and walked toward him. On his side of the table, he believed the game was just now starting. On her side, every important move had already been made. Serena didn't sit down. She left her black suitcase by the front door and walked into the dining room. Malik sat at the table, grinning like he had already won. "There you are," he said. "I've got everything ready." He opened the briefcase and pulled out a stack of papers. "My lawyer did all the work," he said. "No messy court fight, no drama. This is our asset list and the agreement. House, lake place, savings, investments, your fashion business. We split it down the middle. Half for you, half for me. We sign tomorrow, file it, and we're done." He slid the papers toward her. Take a look, he said. You'll see him being fair. Serena laid a dark blue folder on the table and pushed it toward the center. I brought some papers too, she said. Malik let out a short laugh. What? A letter from your therapist? He asked. Serena, feelings don't matter here. This is about the law. This is about the law, Serena said quietly. That's why I hired someone too. She opened her folder and took out the first page, a statement from their joint checking account. This is our joint account, she said. As of this morning, the balance is $5,000. When we're done, that's $2,500 for you, $2,500 for me. That part is 50-50. Malik stared at the number. That's impossible, he snapped. What about the rest? Serena took out another statement. These are my savings, she said. My salary, bonuses, and investments. I moved those funds into accounts in my name before you filed. Your name is not on them. The law says I can do that. You can't just move money like that, Malik shouted. That's cheating. No, Serena answered. Cheating was calling Keisha your real love while you planned to fund your new life with my work. This is me protecting myself. He grabbed his own papers and flipped through them. Fine, he said. Then the lake house. We sell it and split the profit. That's half mine. Serena slid a different document toward him. You're late there too, she said. The place at Lake Lanier was bought as an asset of Serena Fifth Atelier. As company owner, I sold it last month to Skyline Holdings. Here's the contract. The money is in the business account. He scanned the page. Seller, Serena Fifth Atelier, LLC. Buyer, Skyline Holdings, LLC. Date, notary seal. No one even asked me, he said. Your name was never on the deed, Serena replied. The company didn't need your opinion. His cheeks flushed. Then I get half of the company, he said. I supported you. I helped you. I'm not walking away empty-handed. Serena pulled out the last document and put it in front of him. This is the updated ownership of Serena Fifth Atelier, she said. When I opened the first shop, my mother wired me the startup money. That was a loan. The contract says if I don't repay in cash by a certain date, the loan turns into 75% of the shares. The date passed just before you brought up divorce. So now my mother, Evelyn Blake, owns the majority. I'm a minority shareholder and still the CEO. The company is between me and her, not between me and you. Malik stared at the deed. He saw Evelyn's name as majority owner, Serena's name in smaller print, and another notary stamp. You set this up behind my back, he whispered. I protected my future, she said. You were planning to walk into a new life with Keisha, paid for by my accounts. You called me weak. You forgot I run numbers for a living. I'll sue you, Malik said. I'll tell the judge you hid money. Do it. Serena replied. Ask your lawyer if it's illegal to move money from accounts in my name. Ask if it's illegal for a company to sell its own property. Ask who filed first. Papers slipped from Malik's hands and fell to the floor. You ruined me, he said. No, Serena said. You ruined yourself the day you decided my work was your escape plan. She walked to the doorway, picked up the black suitcase, and looked around the room one last time. I'm done, she said. You have your freedom. But you'll build whatever comes next with your own effort, not with my savings. Goodbye, Malik. She rolled the suitcase to the front door and stepped out into the warm Atlanta night. The soft click when the door closed sounded, to Malik, like a final verdict. At last he grabbed his phone and called his lawyer, attorney Marcus Dean. She moved everything, Malik said. The money, the lake place, the shares. This has to be illegal. We need to freeze it. When did she move it? Marcus asked. The last month or two, Malik answered. Had we filed in court? Marcus asked. I was going to file tomorrow, Malik said. There was a pause. Mr. Turner, Marcus said. If the assets were in her name or her company's name when she moved them, and nothing was filed, the law usually sees that as normal management. You waited. She did not. Malik hung up. He called Keisha next. So, when do we get the check? She asked. There is no check, Malik said. She moved the cash, sold the lake house, put the company under her mother. I don't have what I thought it'd have. Silence filled the line. You told me she was soft, Keisha said at last. You told me she would sign anything. I'm not starting from zero with a man who can't even finish his own plan. Don't call me again." The line went dead. That night, Malik sent Serena text after text, first anger, then blame, then begging. None of them showed as delivered. When he tried to call, the call failed. She had blocked him. 1 year later, Atlanta's skyline was the same, but Serena's life had a new shape. She lived now in a bright condo in Midtown, high above the traffic. On her coffee table lay a business magazine. On the cover was Serena, in a deep burgundy dress, holding a crystal award. "Businesswoman of the Year," the title said. After the divorce, she had slowly bought back the company's shares from her mother. Serena Fifth Atelier was fully hers again. The brand had opened a new flagship in New York and was planning a small showroom in Paris. Work was long, but the fear was gone. On the other side of the city, Malik sat in a small rented apartment over a tired strip mall, scrolling his phone on a second-hand couch. The Buckhead house was gone. He had sold it when the payments were too much. After the bank and the lawyers, very little was left. He worked at an ordinary job with an ordinary paycheck. On his screen, other people's lives flashed by. He stopped when he saw Serena's face on the business page. People were cheering in the comments, calling her strong and smart. He stared at the picture until his eyes burned. For the first time, he understood that the biggest thing he had thrown away had never been a building or an account. It had been a woman with a good heart and a strong mind who had once trusted him. Back in Midtown, Serena stood by her big window, watching the evening lights come on across the city. She breathed in slowly, letting the quiet room remind her she had finally chosen herself today. Her past with Malik was not a prison anymore. It was a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. If you've stayed with me until this last moment, thank you so much for listening. If Serena's journey touched you, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next life story. If any part of this made you think or feel something strong, share it in the comments so we can talk about it together. And even if you're still not sure how you feel, tap the like button so I know you were here and can keep learning to bring you better stories. When this video ends, you'll see more real stories on your screen. Pick one, click it, and come spend a little more time with me in the next chapter.